Kennedy on the Harbor One hotline. Sam, good morning.
Good morning, guys. I just told Chris it's great to be with you.
Well, did you tell him that you appreciated the expression of his concern over the game when you were listening to the show last Thursday, I believe?
Well, we've had a lot of concern over the state of the game going all the way back to December when the lockout began. But today is a great day for our city, for Red Sox fans, for our entire organization. It's a huge relief. We're now looking forward and cannot wait to get going. This is exactly what needed to happen, and we're thrilled that the players and the owners have come to an agreement that it's going to work for both sides, and we can take our sport forward, which is what we desperately need. We've been recovering from COVID for a few years, and just a really exciting time.
Well, when it came to getting the deal done from the owner's perspective and you being a part of that in your position, was there concern that if it didn't get done the way it did yesterday, that there would have been real damage done to the game when it comes to fans?
Absolutely. It would have been horrific for our game had we not reached an agreement. And look, the baseball industry owes a deep debt of gratitude to everyone who worked on it. And people here locally don't know this, but John Henry deserves a huge amount of credit. He's a leader on the Labor Policy Committee, along with the Colorado Rockies and Texas, Milwaukee, San Diego, the Yankees. These guys have been on the committee for a decade. They've managed to keep things on the rails and keep the game going. Huge credit to John. He was a voice of reason in these negotiations. He kept the big picture in mind, and he also pushed for rule changes, which are going to make the game better, more exciting. So really excited about that. And but to answer your question, we were concerned. Those of us who have been in the game for nearly 30 years really felt the pressure here, and we're so relieved this morning.
When it comes to rule changes and making the game more exciting, the only concern I have is that you add two teams, you get to the 12 teams playoff-wise. You really don't have the opportunity to have the play-in game like the one you had last season against the Yankees, which was so exciting for the game.
Yeah, there's nothing like October baseball at Fenway Park. And I think, I think we ended at a good place, actually. There was a push for 14 teams. There's debate around whether that would have been a good or a bad thing. I think the beauty of baseball is the long 162-game grind. So 12 feels like a good spot to land, and hopefully we'll be back in playoffs. I haven't felt this good since last October. If you take ourselves back, the energy and electricity that was emanating from Fenway for the month of October was terrific. So that's the goal this year, is get back to October baseball.
Quick question from me on opening day at Fenway, which is scheduled for the Friday night game. Any talk internally about changing that to a day game as it traditionally is?
Yeah, not just talk, but I guess in an effort to pander to Chris Curtis, let's go ahead and move that thing to 2:00 and break some news here. We're going to schedule at 2:00 on Friday the 15th. It's an important, busy day for many reasons. It's Jackie Robinson Day. It's going to be One Boston Day. It's Passover, so we've got a lot of activities. It's unusual to have so many things occurring on the same day, but it'll be a great day in Boston. Our traditional opening day start time at 2:00.
Oh, awesome. All right, 2:00 start time on opening Friday in Boston.
Yeah, that'll be a good day. And Tim, you talked about the energy and the atmosphere in the ballpark last year. Now, somebody like myself who's a casual fan and went to some games really got to experience that. And I tell you this, it's much better to be at the game than watch it on television. How do you, I don't want to say rebuild, but how do you build off of last year, because we've kind of been talking about this, to getting that energy and that atmosphere at the ballpark where, you can go after some of those younger people and make it feel like, they're going to see a ball game, but it's almost like it has this party-like atmosphere?
Yeah, I think Wiggy, I think you and your colleagues over there identified how tragic this work stoppage would have been if it carried over to the season, because we've got great momentum on that front. It starts with getting young people access and tickets and getting them into the ballpark at an affordable price. We've worked really hard at that over the last 5 years. It starts with the type of music and the energy that comes from a great entertainment group. I know you're interested in being the DJ. We'll if you send your resume over, we can look at it. But
Can he do that?
We got 3 great DJs in Liv and Khalil and Jeff. So I don't know. They'll be the judge of that. Maybe an internship,
Right.
But it really. Fenway was the place to be last season, and we want to continue that this year. And of course, it starts with the play on the field, but the energy and enthusiasm does make a difference. We had a great home record, and our home field advantage is real. And our offense at home last year was extraordinary, and we got to keep that going.
And Sam, the Wiggy's resume is just the box score of the snowball. So
Not so. I use vinyl, so
I go back to opening day 2002, Wiggy. So believe me, I remember coming out from that flag and when this whole thing started. So your resume is good with me. I just don't know what kind of DJ you are.
Well,
pretty good.
last time he DJ'd, he sat on a bunch of his records at the end of the night. It was a real issue. So we don't allow him to use vinyl anymore.
Great. I used to DJ in my boy Lenski's basement.
I'm
in
sure you
Dorchester.
did. I'm sure you did.
But Sam, we've been playing some sound this morning from Rob Manfred and how he's saying he needs to repair his relationship with players and fans. When you look at how this all went down and looking at the future between the league and the Players Association, obviously they're going to have conversations, meetings. They're going to have to come to agreements down the road. What do you hope that they learned from this experience to make sure that it doesn't get to this point again?
Yeah, I thought Rob's comments were really spot on last night. He took full accountability for what's happened in terms of the relationship with the players. But look, at the end of the day, his job is to preserve the integrity of the game. His job is to preserve labor peace. We've got baseball back on the field, and Commissioner Manfred and Tony Clark, everyone at the union, all the player reps, the agents, everyone pulled together to get this done. Collective bargaining is about compromise. And at the end of the day, I think in collective bargaining, you walk away from the table, hopefully sort of equally unhappy. And I think that is understandable. And now we can focus on the relationship with the players. We weren't able to talk to anybody. Last night, I talked to Chris Sale, JD, Kiki, Vasky, Nady Evaldi, Bogey, all our guys. It was great to be able to reach out. And look, this organization is special, and it's made special by our players. Red Sox fans know we have something really special here, and the relationship with the players has always been a priority for those of us in the front office. And I'm really glad that Commissioner Manfred and Tony Clark talked yesterday, and now that's going to be a big priority for the league to continue to build now on what is a great agreement. There's some really great elements in this new deal for young players. There's some great elements for the fans in terms of the rule changes, and it's a great way to take the industry forward.
Sam Kennedy is our guest. Sam, when it comes to the players, reports right away this morning that Kyle from Waltham may soon be Kyle from Philly. When you're talking with Chaim and you guys are looking at going right to work positionally, where do you see the need being most when it comes to this ball club? Because you got to get things done quick here.
Yeah, it's a crazy time in baseball operations. There were text messages and emails flying until about 1:30, 2 o'clock this morning related to talks with agents and deals. So Chaim, BOH, and their staff have a lot of work to do because we want to build on the amazing season. Look, we were 2 games away from another World Series, and so that's the goal this year. So I would would take a step back and say you always need more pitching depth. That is for sure. We've got some great young talent there, but we need more pitching. We probably need some outfield depth, some infield depth. So it'll be we've got a little bit of time here. It'll be a sprint. We've got the resources, and so it'll be an exciting couple weeks here as we head towards opening day.
Sam, do you expect to be around the CBT line of $230 million by opening day?
You know, we never like to talk about our payroll plans. Just we don't want to tip our hand to the competition, especially in the American League East. So don't like to talk about payroll publicly, other than to say John Henry, Tom Werner, going all the way back to 2002, have invested the resources that we need to field a competitive team. We brought 4 World Series championships here, and I definitely do not see that commitment to building a great product on the field changing in any way. Now, we're going to try and do it where we're consistently in the postseason for a longer period of time. We've had some high highs and some low lows, so we've talked about sustainability. I know it's a cliche, but we'd really like to build on this team that we had last year. We're now, I think, ranked 8th or 9th overall in Baseball America's rankings at the minor league level. So Simon's done a great job of rebuilding our farm system while also being competitive at the major league level. So long answer to your question is we'll have the resources that we need. Now it's up to us to allocate them properly.
Sam, you talked about some of those players. You know, you got these younger players like Verdugo, Devers. You know, last year you were able to bring those players to the fans and getting to know them just off the field. I know it's about the product on the field, but what are some of the things maybe this year that you're going to try to continue to do, or maybe different for fans to kind of get to know these players? Because I think that's the biggest thing when you look at sports, is the relationship that fans have with players. What can we expect from the Red Sox players? And maybe, you know, maybe we can get a guy on here once a week talking about the season, but what can we expect that might be a little bit different for us to kind of get to know these guys more than to being just baseball players?
Yeah, we live in a world where there's so much connectivity and accessibility. So it's our job to not only enhance the ballpark experience, but to market the players as much as possible. And we're in a world where social media allows that direct access, and you can get a lens into what's happening. We've got several players very active on social, whether it's Kike or Doogie. We've got guys that really want to be connected to our fans. So enhancing their social media following, encourage them to interact with fans is really important. Obviously, through you guys and our media partners, making players accessible. One big thing is going to be allowing the media corps who covers this team back. I mean, think about it. We've been in a unprecedented, awful situation in our industry because of COVID. Lack of connectivity between the media and our players and our fans, and God willing, we're going to be back to sort of pre-COVID operational levels as we get into here to 2022, which I think will make a big difference. And it starts this weekend down in Fort Myers.
Real quick, any thought about the $9 tickets, the college tickets? You're going to try to continue that?
Yeah, we're absolutely going to continue that, build upon that program. We've had tens of thousands of middle school, high school, college kids come into Fenway Park night in and night out. For anyone, for kids listening or families listening, that program will continue all season. We're building a big database of young fans all over New England, and frankly, that energy does make a difference. So yes, our Student 9 ticket program will continue. Tickets available for all games at $9 for middle school, high school, college kids. Please come down to Fenway and help us get back to October.
Sam, you were talking about making players accessible and the social media aspect of it all, but a player that I think a lot of people might have forgotten that you guys got back right before all this went down was Jackie Bradley Jr. I'm seeing on social media this morning, like, oh, I've been so bummed about what's going on with baseball. I forgot about this piece of it. He was a fan favorite, but I think he was beloved in the clubhouse. How excited are you to have him back on this team?
Jackie's perhaps one of the nicest, players, one of the best guys you could have in an organization. He's a World Series champion. You're absolutely right. People forget about his contribution sometimes, but we don't forget. And he was the last player I talked to the night of the lockout. We had to stop communicating with our players at midnight. The deal came down that day. I spoke to him about 11:45, and I said, I hope I'm going to be speaking to you soon. And we were able to reconnect last night, and that was really special and really fired up to have Jackie back.
All right, Sam. Well, it's exciting.
Yep.
And obviously, we'll await the home opener, which is a 2:00 game on that Friday, and Marathon Monday game is saved, and it's very exciting. So I assume we'll have the opportunity to talk to you and Chaim over the next couple of weeks here as the Red Sox start to make some moves.
Thanks a lot, guys. Great to be with you.
All right.
And Sam, quick question. Greg tells us that he was shirtless at the pool. I don't buy it for a second.
Fort Myers?
At the
I
Fort
never
Myers junket down at the Hyatt down there.
I believe I took my. I don't know if I ever took my shirt off or not. The weather really was not conducive to taking the shirt off.
Classic excuse.
Right, Sam?
I try not to use these words on your show, but I'm going to have to go with no comment on that one.
All right. Great to talk to you, Sam. We'll talk to you again soon.